A lot of accepted wisdom seems to be that it's bad to drink, period. But there's still another school of thought, backed up by research, that holds that booze in moderation can actually have health benefits. Is Scotch one of those spirits? Watch and find out. In a study sponsored in part by the Scotch Whisky Research Institute, researchers at the Rowan Research Institute in Aberdeen, Scotland, tested wine, a 12-year-old cask-aged malt whisky, and a newly distilled whisky to determine the health benefits of each. In the end, the researchers found that both the red wine and aged whisky raised the body's level of antioxidants, which help to protect against coronary heart disease.
All I have is a bottle of very, very, very old Scotch. Whiskey!
The study, published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition, also found out that those who drank the aged whiskey as opposed to the wine were able to absorb more phenols, a beneficial chemical that helps prevent heart disease. Other types of alcohol have also been found to protect against heart disease, the researchers noted in their study. Hugh Morrison, the Director General of the Scotch Whisky Association, said, "This research is yet further evidence that the moderate consumption and enjoyment of all alcoholic beverages is beneficial to health."
Thank you, alcohol.
A team of researchers from the State University of New York at Potsdam, led by Professor David J. Hansen in 2011, discovered that people who drink 1 to 2 servings of whiskey every day halved their chances of having a stroke in old age. And as Scotch is a type of whiskey, we can assume these benefits extend to Scotch. Most strokes have the same cause, blood clots. And according to Professor Hansen's study, Scotch, quote, acts as a natural blood thinner. Therefore, it can lower a person's risk for developing blood clots that could lead to a stroke. Although this health benefit is not unique to Scotch, Scotch is particularly helpful in preventing strokes. Due to its composition, the spirit removes extra cholesterol from the body and prevents the cardiovascular system from being clogged. Scotch also relaxes artery walls and thins the blood, thus reducing stroke risk.
If you offered me a Scotch and plain water, I could drink a Scotch and plain water. That a boy, Lieutenant? Make it yourself like a good chap, will you?
Although drinking alcohol has been linked to certain types of cancer and the American Cancer Society advises limiting your alcohol intake, Scotch could just play a unique role in preventing cancer too. According to Dr. Jim Swan, who consults with the drinks industry, single malt whiskies contain high levels of ellagic acid.
Good, isn't it?
Although red wine does as well, the content in whiskey is much higher. At a Euro MedLab conference in Glasgow, Scotland in 2005, Dr. Swan revealed, "So whether you indulge in the odd tipple or you are a serious connoisseur, whiskey can protect you from cancer and science proves it."
Well, I will try it.
I'll get it.
But Dr. Leslie Walker, the Director of Cancer Information at Cancer Research UK, warned, "Ellagic acid is a powerful antioxidant, but that does not mean it is necessary to hit the bottle."
Let me try that. This calls for a medical opinion.
Thanks to advances in medical science, people are living longer. However, according to the United Kingdom's National Health System, that means there are more and more people living with dementia. Interestingly though, David Hansen's 2011 study revealed that people who consumed anywhere from 1 to 2 drinks of whiskey had a 50% reduced risk of developing dementia in their elderly years. Although Scotch may be the best for the job, Hansen says that all alcoholic beverages have the power to, quote, significantly reduce the risk of dementia.
Hey, you want a ring ding? I smuggled it over the border.
What year is it?
59, a collector's item.
Be great with Scotch.
Yeah.
Despite its complex flavor profile, Scotch contains no carbohydrates, sugar, salt, or fat, making it one of the lowest calorie alcoholic drinks. Rebecca Lewis, a registered dietitian at HelloFresh, says that Scotch is her drink of choice. Lewis told Self magazine, "My favorite is Macallan 12-year age Scotch. I like to avoid sugary mixers like juice, and since Scotch is stronger, I sip it slower, and 1 glass can last me the whole evening."
50-year-old Macallan. A particular favorite of yours, I understand. So, what's the toast?
If it isn't served neat, Scotch is commonly served with calorie-free add-ins like water or ice. You can certainly make a Scotch cocktail, but that will up the calories. However, mixers aren't the only way to infuse a smattering of different flavors into your drink. Blended Scotch, which is a mix or two of more single malts in one bottle, is, quote, basically mixology in itself, according to John Linstead, a bartender and bar manager in Edinburgh, Scotland.
I love Scotch. I love Scotch. Scotchy Scotch Scotch. Here it goes down into my belly.
As part of a 1987 study conducted by researchers at University of Dundee in Scotland and published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, 17 participants drank Scotch 3 hours after having dinner and went to sleep that night at their usual times. 7 of the 17 participants went on to experience episodes of acid reflux, which lasted just over 47 minutes on average while lying down. When Scotch was removed from the experiment, however, none of them experienced acid reflux. All types of booze can cause indigestion. Kevin Gassemi, a gastroenterologist at the University of California, Los Angeles, revealed to NPR that alcohol tends to relax the muscles between the esophagus and stomach, which creates a passageway for stomach acid to come upward. According to WebMD, a toothache happens when the pulp of a tooth, which is full of sensitive nerve endings, becomes inflamed. You'll want to see a dentist, but there's a temporary solution to quell the pain. Three Rivers Dental, a Washington-based dental clinic, recommends a unique home remedy. Adults 21 and over can find relief by soaking a cotton ball in Scotch, brandy or vodka would work too, and holding it against the problem tooth. The clinic also says, in other cases, simply swishing some alcohol around the area near the tooth will help. But this only treats pain, not the underlying problem. A study published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that 12-year-old cask-aged Scotch was able to raise a person's level of antioxidants even more so than red wine. Antioxidants are important for several reasons, but are actually especially useful for fighting inflammation, nutrition expert Sean Talbot revealed to ShareCare. Although antioxidants aren't just found in wine and Scotch, the latter is especially rich in antioxidants. A study done at Monash University in Australia revealed that whiskey offers more ascorbic acid, and hence antioxidant activity, than a glass of orange juice. However, the kind of whiskey you choose matters. The study published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition reported there was a marked fall in antioxidant capacity in participants after they consumed newly distilled whiskey as opposed to aged Scotch. An old wives' tale claims that whiskey can cure the common cold, and a hot toddy, a warm drink made from whiskey with lemon and honey, can provide some momentary relief from your cold or flu. William Schaffner, an esteemed infectious disease specialist and chair of preventative medicine at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee, said, "It would not have an effect on the virus itself, but its effect on the body can possibly give you some modest symptom relief. The alcohol dilates blood vessels a little bit, and that makes it easier for your mucous membranes to deal with the infection. Because the drink is served hot, the temperature alone can also help relieve your symptoms. But a nightly hot toddy isn't going to protect you against coming down with the flu or a cold." Ellagic acid is a pretty wonderful component of Scotch, as it's useful for curbing inflammation and fighting cancer, but that's actually not all it does. David Friedman, nutritionist and author of Food Sanity: How to Eat in a World of Fads and Fiction, explained, "We hear a lot about how healthy wine is because of its high antioxidant content, but whiskey contains just as many. Whiskey gets its amber coloring from being aged in wooden barrels, which also creates ellagic acid, and the ellagic acid in whiskey can help keep blood sugar levels in check. This is a big deal because unregulated blood sugar can lead to kidney and nerve damage, as well as heart disease and stroke, according to WebMD.
I was drinking Scotch 100 years before you were born, and I can tell you that whatever this is, it is definitely not Scotch."
How would you like to live for more than a century? Grace Jones, affectionately referred to as Amazing Grace, lived to be 112 years old. Until her death in June 2019, she was Britain's oldest person. She was also active up until her passing, as her daughter, Deirdre McCarthy, revealed to BBC News. In 2016, when Jones was the 10th oldest person in the UK, she credited something unusual for her longevity. Jones told The Scotsman, "I never miss my nightcap. All I have is the whiskey at night." Famous grouse Scotch, specifically, was her drink of choice. As Jones explained to The Scotsman, "I started having a nightly tot of it when I turned 50, so I've been having it every night for the last 60 years, and I certainly have no intention of stopping now. My doctor said, keep up with the whiskey, Grace, it's good for your heart." Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more The List videos about health and wellness are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.